What's going on, guys? TK back with another video. So today I'm gonna just give some tips on general raiding in Scarlet and Violet because I've been raiding with some of the player base online, just randomly queuing up, and I've come to notice some things, but let's just jump into it. We need to raid in this game to build teams because unfortunately it takes 50 Terra Crystals to change a Pokemon's Terra type, and unless you find that Pokemon with the Terra type, you're gonna most likely need to grind these raids to get those Terra shards, and we need other things like ability patches and stuff like that. Unfortunately, raids are pretty difficult in this game compared to our Sword and Shield predecessor, okay, or counterpart, or whatever you want to call it, last gen. All right, raids in this game, there's no Zacians pressing Behemoth Blade anymore, baby. We struggling up in here. That's what I noticed from the general player base. So I'm just gonna give some tips because I think I'm just gonna put this video out here, even if it helps 2 people. Like, we gotta understand how this works, okay? Because this is what I've been noticing from the general player base so far. And I understand the game just came out, a lot of people are still progressing and stuff like that, but in general, 5-star raids and above are pretty, the difficulty spikes a little bit, right? And then what I've noticed from people that I've been playing with randomly is that people tend to home in on the Terra type instead of extrapolating the typing of the original Mon. I'll give you an example. This raid right here, I went in a few times with like random people online just to kind of like see what's going on, and I failed it like 4 or 5 times. What people are doing is that they seem to be using, they like, okay, I see water, right? It's a Gardevoir, which is normally a psychic and fairy Pokemon, but I see water. So what they do is they choose a Pokemon with an electric move, right? Tends to be legendaries is what I'm noticing, right? So a lot of people are coming in here with their Miraidons, but what they don't understand is that the Miraidon is electric and dragon, okay? The Gardevoir is still a fairy and psychic type. Fairy is good against dragon, okay? Yes, their electric moves will deal decent damage to the electric type, but the damage output does not exceed the defensive capabilities of the Pokemon. It's a 5-star raid. So what's happening is they're bringing these Miraidons, and yes, they're doing decent damage, but what's happening is they're getting one shot by like Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam or whatever, right? Or 2-shot or whatever. They're basically, they keep dying even though they're dishing out damage. And every time a Pokemon faints, right, in raids, it takes off a chunk of the time bar. So what's happening is they're like, okay, I see water, but I'm gonna bring electric dragon though, and because it's legendary, like, okay, the base stats are gonna carry me. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. If a team of 4 Miraidons come in here, you're most likely gonna lose because everybody's just gonna keep getting one shot the entire time. Even if you're, and a lot of people don't even play support. There's like cheers and stuff in this game. So what you can do is, what you need to do is you need to extrapolate the main typing and play defensively, and maybe you might have a Pokemon, like one person on the team who's like really playing offense, and the other people like supporting him with cheers and heals when needed. Everybody should be dealing damage, but everybody shouldn't be like so focused on dealing damage. 1 or 2 people can focus on cheering, and then dealing cheering when needed, and then dealing damage when needed, and then one person can focus on the terrestrializing and trying to break the shield, right? So for like that, for example, like that's a Gardevoir, okay? The perfect Pokemon against that is Magnezone. Magnezone is a steel electric type Pokemon. It resists the psychic and fairy portion of the Gardevoir, but it also has the electric portion to hit it also has the electric typing to hit the water typing of the Terra type of the Gardevoir, right? So Magnezone will survive, and you need to EV train. Like, try to EV, because a 5-star raise, they get a 5-star, 6-star Black Crystal, they get a little difficult. So try to EV train or IV train your Pokemon just to help out the community. Like, if you're doing random, if you got a dedicated group, you're good. But like, if you're playing randomly, try to like not be a liability, and like try to EV train if you can, and IV, and really think about the spreads. So like Magnezone, he can resist the psychic and fairy portion, which means he's not gonna die quickly, he's not gonna faint quickly, and then he'll still be doing decent damage. If you can get an electric Terra type Magnezone at the same time, once the shield comes up, you can Terra type it to electric and start dishing out more damage to break that shield, right? But you got to think about, I say think about don't think too much about the Terra type. Think more about playing, like being able to survive hits from the original typing, because that's going to go a long way, and it's going to help out other people. Because I know people are getting frustrated online dealing with like people coming in there with their legendaries, thinking the legendary is going to carry them, but it doesn't work that way. Like, I'll give you an example. Like, the other day I fought a Weavile. The Weavile was an electric Terra type, but Weavile is still inherently ice dark. People were bringing Garchomps because they're like, okay, I see electric, I bring ground, not knowing that, or not understanding that Weavile is still using its ice moves on a Garchomp, and Garchomp is 4 times weak to ice. So you need to understand these things before you go into the raid, so you're not a liability. Because yes, you can dish out damage, but if you're constantly fainting, all you're doing is chunking the time bar down, and then inevitably the raid fails. Understand defensive play or defensive measures in typing, and then do damage, but also support the team, and also make sure you're not constantly fainting. And that's gonna make it so everybody inevitably beats the raid. There's other strategies too, like you could do like, but you gotta have like a dedicated party to that. Like, you use like the legendary that decreases defense, and then you bring, like, and then it's a special attacking raid mon, and then you bring like physical attackers, like little stuff like that. That's like more of like dedicated raid groups and stuff like that. There's plenty of strategies out there. But if you're playing with randoms, try not to be a liability, and really extrapolate the original typing so you don't faint as much, because the more you faint, the more that time bar goes down. So that's all I really wanted to say in this video. Just trying to help out. If it helps out 1 or 2 people, that's cool. But I've noticed that, hey, man, I guess this will get better over time once people actually start building better mons and stuff like that. But right now, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of like a clown fiesta up at the raids right now. If you're playing with randoms, everybody just spamming legendaries. Nobody's really thinking about the typings. It's crazy out here. But hey, if you like this video, if you learned something, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay, peace.